right. Anyway, sorry that we're starting a little delayed, but we're going to call the meeting to order. I will ask council if they have any additions. I will start us off by saying we do have a request for a support letter for the Windy Bridge Wind Project in Colchester. On behalf of, the request came on behalf of Everwind Fuels. And any other additions? Okay, Councillor Paul.
Seasonal maintenance position.
Okay. Any other additions today? Okay, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Moved.
Seconded.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Okay, the agenda is approved. And before we move on to the first item, on behalf of council, I just wanted to express our sincere sympathies and condolences for the loss of your mother, who's a former councillor of the town for some number of years. Also, certainly being the third woman to sit on town council in the history of the town, certainly a breaker of many glass ceilings. So on behalf of council, we just wanted to have a moment of silence to acknowledge the passing of your mother. We also will be making a donation to the villa on her behalf, and do have
Thank you.
to present to you. Our first item is a letter review for Reed Street. Terry, you have a draft?
Okay. So a draft was sent out to council yesterday morning for review. I'm just wondering, are there any questions at this point in time? Or I'd just like to find out the wish of council, whether you would like me to go through the letter, or we take comments at this time and move from there.
Your worship,
Yeah.
appreciate if Mr. Doyle would go through the letter, review the letter.
Okay. So letters to Honorable Kim Masland. She's the Minister of Public Works, and it's with respect to Reeve Street pilot project. So the motion, as we recorded, and we recorded as per the actual wording that was passed on. And that is moved by Deputy Mayor Mark McIver, seconded by Councillor Huey McDougall, that Reeve Street be changed back to 4 lanes to petition the province to remedy the current issues. There was an amendment to that motion, and it was moved by Councillor Huey McDougall, seconded by Deputy Mayor McIver, to be added to the original motion, that a letter be prepared and sent to council for review, and then sent to the appropriate government officials at the province of Nova Scotia within 2 weeks. And the amendment was passed and the original motion was passed. There was 1 nay recorded, and that was Mayor Chisholby. And so this is just a bit of history. There's a long history of this project, as we know, so it was difficult to summarize. So we're looking at some kind of key points that were occurring here. So in February of 2018, the town of Port Hawkesbury was advised that work on safety improvements to the Reeve Street part of the Destination Reeve Street project would proceed as a pilot project. So there's a number of references to dates and what's accompanying this enclosures is the reference letters that refer to that. This letter was from the chief engineer, Peter Hackett. So that's with design concept under development moving forward. Fortunately, the project proceeded with the project completion occurring in October 2019. From the commencement of the use of the roadway with improvements completed, the town noticed specific concerns with road markings, adjustments required at intersections, traffic light operation, and with respect to a lack of signage. As a pilot project, a study was to be completed within a year to 2 years of the start of use of the roadway to identify the success or failure of the pilot. To assist with the pilot evaluation, the town worked with Nova Scotia Public Works staff to put in place a committee with representatives from emergency response agencies, members of the public, town councillors and staff, and Nova Scotia Public Works staff, with the committee chaired by Nova Scotia Public Works. The work of the committee was completed with the identification of deficiencies and the completion of a public opinion survey. Despite continued requests for safety concerns to be corrected and for the study and final report to be completed, we continue to wait for meaningful action. Despite overall positive impacts, Council's frustration with the lack of progress has resulted in our request the province to change, that should be to the province to change Reeve Street back to 4 lanes to petition the province to remedy the current situation. To move forward with further action, we request that a meeting be convened with Port Hawkesbury Town Council, the Minister of Public Works, the Deputy Minister of Public Works, and our MLA, Deputy Premier McMaster. The town recognizes and appreciates the efforts of the province to implement the Reeve Street safety improvements, the need to move forward with essential changes on the west end components of the project, and our desire to complete the active transportation project on Reeve Street from Pitt Street to Old Sydney Road. We also recognize the impacts of situation beyond your control, including conditions imposed by COVID-19 restrictions and changes in staff and governance at your department. We respectfully ask for your commitment to move forward with our request through the requested meeting and written follow-up. And it's signed by the mayor and as listed, the deputy mayor, Councillor McDougall, Councillor McQuarrie, and Councillor O'Coin.
So that's the letter, and we just wanted to ensure council saw that draft as was requested in our last public meeting. So it asked at this time, are there any errors or omissions or any kind of changes the council would like to see prior to a motion to approve the letter and to have that sent off to province? Deputy Mayor, as a mover of the motion.
Thank you, Worship. No, I don't see, I think the letter is well put together and it gets to the point that we were discussing. And I think it already proved itself, just the motion, so I'm fine with it.
And as the seconder of the motion, we'll go over to Councilor McDougall.
Yes, Your Worship, through you. It's a lot to unpack. Anyway, on the second paragraph, through you, Your Worship, to Terry, the end of the page there, paragraph starts with as a pilot project. And then it continues on, and it says, despite continuing requests for safety concerns, it talks about the public survey opinion that we did back a number of months ago. And I'm getting the impression here, it says, despite an overall positive impact of the project. Is that what we got out of the public opinion survey, that it was a positive impact? That's not what I got out of it. When we asked the question to the gentleman that was here giving it that day, it was like 46% or something were against it, 43 were for it, and And he used a telephone survey that was 625 numbers that could have been Port Hastings or Lower River or West Bay Road at the time. And some of the, I know I did mine online, and he said he didn't do any of the online, so anything was done, he didn't do any of them and count them into the survey. So I'm just wondering, what does that mean, despite overall positive impact of the project? Somebody explain that to me.
I think what's being referred to there is that there's no question the speed has been reduced on that. We've been told on that piece of street, we've been told that accidents have been reduced. We've been told that there's a number of positive impacts that have occurred. We're hearing that from a number of different sources. The public opinion survey is just that. It's one component to be considered. And you know, whether you rely on that or don't rely on that, it is what it is. It's a simple public opinion survey, and that has to be considered. But that has to be considered by Nova Scotia Transportation and Public Works in their evaluation of this study. There is to be that opinion poll, safety data, speed data. All of those things are supposed to be put together in a final report that comes back to us. And the issue is that we have not received that back. So if there's consensus on a change to the letter, please let me know.
I guess, Your Worship, through you, like I say, I didn't think that it was a positive impact. I don't want to get into debating Free Street here, but you know, when people say it slows down traffic, I agree with that. It's slowing it down all right. It's stopping it in a lot of places. But I sit on the police commission, the police advisory board, and we pay a lot of money for police officers. So all we have to do is put a police officer up there for 4 or 5 hours and charge 2 or 3 people. They'll be slowing down. You don't have to spend millions of dollars to change stuff. So that's my opinion. But I just, back to the original question, if that survey is, if the impression I'm getting is the survey that was a positive impact, is that what we're talking about? Or are we talking about positive impacts to the street itself? I just can't understand what that means, despite overall impacts of the project. Is that true, the survey?
Would it make sense to, I guess, to complement or add what's being referred to, despite overall positive impacts of the reduced incidents of speeding and reduced accidents? And then that quantifies what you're talking about versus.
Well, I don't agree with that statement, so I wouldn't want to put that in.
Well, there'll be data to back that up at the end of the day.
Your worship?
Yeah.
What I would suggest is just delete despite overall positive impacts of the project. Take that out of there and just start it with council's frustration. Just take that out of the
Yeah,
sentence.
because it's the job of Nova Scotia Public Works to determine if the impacts are positive or negative, so. Right.
I agree.
So if we take that out, that's fine. So council in agreement with just removing that? Okay, any other amendments that we need to make as a council before this letter is approved?
Just the wording of what Terry brought.
The
Two.
grammar.
Grammar.
Okay. Anything else? Councilor Corey, Councilor Paul.
My only comment on this, well, 2 of them actually, one Deputy Mayor already brought forward. The motion has done its job already. It's gotten us a meeting. With that meeting, though, there was an email address that was missed that I feel is very important, and that's our MLA. He was not invited to the meeting.
Okay, well, let's face it directly.
And the second, right off the start, Terry had asked if we still want to send this forward, and absolutely I do.
Sorry, what was the second?
Terry had asked if we wanted to continue to send this letter, and the answer is yes.
Well, we would send it.
Send the letter even though we have the meeting set up.
The motion stated to send the letter, so we're sending the letter. Okay.
Just a point of clarification, the request in the letter is for a meeting with the minister, the deputy minister, and our MLA and deputy premier.
Correct.
That's not my understanding who will be attending a meeting that was prearranged after that I had notice of. That was a staff meeting. So the point is this is a meeting between politicians. So this is a meeting with the minister and his staff and your MLA.
Correct.
And town council.
Yes.
Any staff is there to support that. And the presentation will be made from politician to politician.
Yes.
With direction given from there.
Your worship, just point of clarification here. Where are we getting that, Terry? I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Is that
So,
in the motion or is that?
no, so it's
The letter.
if you look at the back page, it's the second last paragraph. To move forward with further action, we request that.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Convene.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
further. In the letter, you mean? Not
Yes.
The original
Yes.
motion, okay.
It's in the letter.
That's what I had recorded. That's
Yeah.
from my notes from the discussions at the table at that time. That's what you wanted.
Yes.
Anything else on the letter specifically?
Good.
I'm good.
So the motion for consideration is that the town of Port Oswego approve the draft letter to the Ministry of Nova Scotia Department of Public Works as presented and with the noted amendments.
With the note of amendments.
I would move.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Any discussion on the current motion?
Question.
Okay, the question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Okay, the motion is approved. Okay, our next item is a Cape Breton Partnership Agreement. Terry, did you want to take us through some of the information for council consideration?
Sure, and if you don't have time, if you hadn't had time to digest this, we can move this to a different meeting. It'd be
Yeah,
Nice to see
certainly.
this.
I mean,
Best to distribute.
present the information and and we can just table it if council needs more time to consider it for September.
Sure.
Can I interrupt for just 1 second, please? I think we're all smart enough that we can read this at home. I don't think we need a presentation. If we have questions, we could probably reach out to Terry directly.
I think that's what you just said.
That's what I just.
Yeah,
basically-
instead of Terry presenting anything
Yeah.
today.
Oh, we're good.
Okay, so I guess we have it for information. The information is in your package. If council is supportive, with the information that's in your package and, the wish of council to forgo the presentation, which we certainly can do. What's the wish of council? Is it to talk about it today or you want to have that table till the fall?
My recommendation would be to table it until fall.
Agreed.
Is there consensus on that?
Agreed.
Okay, so just in preparation of it being on our September public meeting agenda, I would invite you to ask any questions in advance of that, so that if there are any questions or if you do need more information, you can certainly contact Terry, and if we don't have that information, we can certainly get that from the Cape Breton Partnership. And we will put that on our agenda for ratification in September, the decision of ratification. Okay, our next item is property issues.
So that those issues were brought forward by Councilor Rowe.
Okay, Councilor Klein.
Property issues.
So
Did we
that's where your discussion on grass cutting and where that came from. So
Okay.
So did you want to deal with your addition in this item?
Sure.
Okay.
So, as we spoke about already, but we'll speak about it here. With the property issues, it's directly in the grounds and maintenance throughout the town. And I guess leaving a job not complete. We see mowing done and not whippersnipped. We see less people than we originally thought as a council would be out at this time of year. And I will refer to last year when council put a motion on the table to have 2 positions hired. Also to help with the student positions. We added 2 positions on top of that, and they had not yet been advertised. One of them is a returning person from last year, so I guess that one doesn't have to be advertised. But right now, I'm hearing, and I'm sure a lot of it council's hearing from residents, that what's being done isn't enough. It's not being done to a standard that we're used to, or that we should be used to. So I bring it up for discussion today to see what council thinks on this issue. And before I put it to the floor, I will be moving a motion today for that second position.
So,
Are you doing?
I can do the motion now, and then we can talk about it once the motion's on the.
well, we need a motion. for
So I'm going to
discussion.
do a motion. I'm going to put a motion forward that we hire a seasonal summer employee focused on maintenance, grounds maintenance, of 14 weeks at 35 hours a week at a wage of $17.50 an hour. And that be advertised as soon as possible.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Deputy Mayor,
Question.
would you like to start the discussion?
Yes. It's a good question on the motion.
Sure.
This is to, I guess, to hire a mature
Yes,
person to help supervise and teach, I guess.
to work with the students.
Okay, thank you. If I'm starting it out through your worship, I guess.
The floor is still yours.
I do agree. I think that there is guidance needed from what I've seen being done. And it would probably help a lot. Our full-time staff take a lot of time that they're out there trying to supervise students too. If we had a mature person that can do that, we may not get as many complaints from the public if things are cleared up a little bit better. I think as far as the liquor center goes, we've yet to see the work department come out and do the edges and stuff, which will help. It'll make it look a lot neater too. So I guess that's all I have to say.
Okay,
Yes, Your Worship, through you. Yes, Your Worship, thank you, through you. Two things. First, I know we made a motion last year. You're saying, Councillor Coyne, that there was a motion made. I'd like to see that motion because I don't want to
Counteract the
Well,
motion.
yeah, and this motion will end up being neglected because of a previous motion. You can still make the motion and we can see. That's the first part. The second part, I want to guarantee, and I think Councillor's point and the Deputy Mayor's point, that we specifically state that this is a working supervisor's position, not just somebody going around saying, you're doing this. We want them hands-on also.
So just for clarification, it's not a supervisor's position. It's a mature person who's going to help with the students. They're working 35 hours a week alongside the students, and they'll mentor the students as
They
they work.
whippersnap, they mow lawns,
Yes.
absolutely. Okay, I get it. Okay, sounds good.
Councilor Ford.
Thank you, Your Worship. I think just to Councillor McDougall's concern there, this came up last year at council through budget talks, and Councillor Coyne said he brought the request and then the motion forward. And it was with respect to the parents in town. And as councillors, I think we were all getting quite a bit of feedback from residents. And that was the priority. We had consensus about these 2 positions last year because we appreciate what we were hearing from the residents and we want to make our town look as attractive as we possibly can. So I'm glad that you're bringing it forward. We need to act on it. We want to get the additional staff person in place sooner than later. So I fully support the motion.
And perhaps we can ask about if you have any comments or refer to.
No, I think I understand the request. I'm not sure about the word mature. That becomes an issue when you try to define what a mature person is and what
Sounded to be
someone's
in
not.
some position.
Especially-
Not a student.
So that's just a challenge.
Right.
It was the wish of council, and that's what we will do.
I don't know how you would define not a student.
I don't either. You gotta be careful, Sticky,
Yeah.
they do.
Mature, I don't know.
Yeah,
Are we out of, through you, are we out of line if we say an adult position?
Is adult, you're legally an adult at 18.
I think staff understands what we want.
Yeah, I guess we just want to make sure that we're not, I guess, stepping on any, I guess, we just want to make sure that our motion is in line with labor rights, et cetera.
Yes.
So we don't have to put mature in the motion, but
Yeah,
staff
but you can just say position.
staff understands what
Yeah,
council is asking for.
okay, so we just need that amendment, and then we'll go back to the main motion.
I'll make the amendment that we take mature out of
Thank you.
the main motion.
We have a second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the amendment?
Question.
All those in favor on the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded. Okay, the amendment is such that mature has been taken out of the main motion. Any more discussion on the main motion?
Question.
Okay, question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded. Okay, the motion is approved. Was there any other item?
That's good.
So we're going to move on to, we do have a request for a letter of support from Everwind Fuels with regard to their Windy Bridge project located in Colchester. So the request was circulated to council. What is the wishes of council?
I'll move the motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Any discussion on the motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Before I point something out here, I do want to say that I fully support Everwind, and I support sending any support letter they need. And I look at the benefits to Nova Scotia, line 3, municipal tax benefits. The municipal tax benefits do not benefit this town. And I want to make that very clear. I'm hoping that with all these support letters and all the time that we've invested into this project, that we're going to be able to get a commitment from Everwind for a long-term investment in the town of Port Hawkesbury.
Noted. Any other discussion?
Yep, so I don't know, your worship, if you're able to elaborate any on this number 3, where there's reference to community benefit, municipal tax benefits over 3 million annually in municipal tax over project life, comma, community benefit agreement with over 300,000 annually for proximity payments, a community vibrancy fund, and a bursary program for renewables education. That one, pretty straightforward, I think.
Yeah.
But can you shed any light on this community vibrancy fund and the proximity payments?
Sure. I don't have any specific information I can share at this point, but I'm more than happy to reach out to Daniel, who did request that support letter. And whatever information he's able to share with me, I'm happy to circulate that to council.
Good, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion?
just a question, your worship, on the letter in general. Is this letter coming from all municipalities in the province?
I'm not 100% sure how many municipalities they're making requests for support from.
Is this from where?
Colchester County.
Colchester County? Yeah, okay.
I believe since we're in close proximity to their central location in Point Tupper, they they're definitely, we're a municipality of proximity to the Olympials location, so I'm assuming that many of the other surrounding municipalities have been asked for support letters as well. But if you so wish, certainly ask
No, that's just a question.
as well. Any other questions or comments, or if you're prepared, you can call the question.
Question.
Okay, the question has been called. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded. The motion is approved, and since the approved addition 7B was already discussed in agenda item 6, I would ask for a motion of adjournment.
Moved.
Seconded.
I'm just wondering, your worship, if, since this is a regular council meeting, do we ask gallery if they have any questions? We normally do that, the end of our meetings?
We usually do at our regular meetings,
Maybe not a special.
but typically not at our special public meetings, but certainly if there's anybody here that does have any questions about our.
I have one.
Okay, what I would,
We discussed it.
yeah, I would need unanimous approval
Yes.
from everybody in council to, okay. So,
Providing it's a topic we discussed.
yeah, so, yeah, step up.
Okay.
We would ask, we just ask for you to come up to the podium if you don't mind. And just to give you the quick Coles Notes rules,
Public meeting,
yeah, it's just,
nobody knew about it. I know it's on your website.
Mhm.
And some people put it on their Facebook, but it should be on the radio.
okay, for,
Antigonish puts it on the radio, that there's a special, especially a special one, because we all know that you, on Tuesdays, that you have
right,
meetings, right?
Right.
So a lot of people I talk to, they want me. Well, it's got something to do with the 4 lanes, the 3 lanes, but it's, it's special. And maybe I'm not a very good talker, but
no, I think, yeah.
I think that it should, and she said you have to pay for a public.
No, how about we'll get staff to explain, so we are bound by the Municipal Government Act in terms of any meeting of council, so there are very specific rules around advertising, whether it's a public meeting or a committee of the whole meeting or a special public meeting. And from time to time, as a council, we have to have an emergency meeting if it's an item that needs to be dealt with absolutely right away and we don't have time to provide that notice. But maybe we'll get Terry to just explain what our process is for advertising our special public meetings, just so you're aware. And if there is,
Because I thought this would be an important meeting to do with Reed Street. And if my wife hadn't seen it on Facebook, we wouldn't have known about it.
okay, so Terry, did you want to give a little bit of an overview?
No decisions being made today.
No, it was more for information, I guess just to premise your question in terms of the item that we had on our agenda about Reed Street letter. So at our public meeting that we had, I believe last Tuesday, we had an agenda item on our agenda that was an update on Reed Street, and Deputy Mayor McIver introduced the motion, which was in response to the 14 items that we need to see, issues that we want to see fixed so that, we have the best, safest street possible for everyone and all the users of the street. That includes not just people driving, but also pedestrians, all the users of Reed Street. And that motion, also an aspect of that motion was to send a letter to Nova Scotia Public Works to talk about, the letter was shared and discussed here during this particular meeting. So the reason why we had this special public meeting began with, we want to make sure we follow through with that motion, have that letter presented to council, because part of that motion, I believe, Councilor McDougall had mentioned was they wanted to see that draft letter so we could all understand exactly what was going through to the province and the correspondence, which was approved with some, with small amendments. But going back to your question about special public meetings, Terry, do you take a moment just to explain, I guess, according to the MGA, what we have to do for that?
Yeah, so there's certain things that we have to follow in accordance with the act, and that with respect to advertising and how long that advertising takes. And so for special public meetings, we have to post the agenda 2 days before the meeting. There has to be decision 5 days before the meeting, but we're not obliged to put it into local newspapers or advertise on the radio. Having said that, there's nothing preventing us from doing that either. And that's something we can certainly think more carefully about the next time we do this, because obviously some of these topics have been interesting to a number of people, or of interest to a number of people in towns. But that's something we'll consider better in the future. And
Did you have
thank you for the comment.
any other questions or comments? Oh,
No, I was just going to explain the time frame, but we did it somewhat, but
no, I
there was no decisions being made today. And if there's decisions in the future, I'm sure that we'll have plenty of notice, and there should be notice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I guess the only decision really was the acceptance of the letter, like, so the draft, here's the draft, are council okay with this? You know, we had some slight amendments, so that letter, we'll be sending that off to the province once it's tweaked to council's liking. But if there's any other follow-up questions on any of the other agenda items?
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I know you probably don't need any introduction, but just for the purposes of the minutes, if you could